Hello, welcome to Manna Inspirations podcast. I'm your host, Sheena Martin, and I must welcome you another Wednesday where we will have a discussion. And this part is talking about an aspect of our purpose. Sometimes it's hard for us to get started, and sometimes we don't know how to start or when to start. And we find it so difficult to even launch what we want to launch about our purpose or get started off. And sometimes we need a little push from somebody. Sometimes we need a little kickstart here and there. And some of the obstacles that stops us from actually starting. One of it may be self-doubt. We may doubt ourselves that we can start. We may doubt ourselves that we don't have the necessary resources, or we don't think that we have the ability or the capability to start. But one thing that I can encourage you to do is to believe in yourself, because you are the only one who can stop you from going forward. Sometimes it's not others, sometimes it's not the resources that you don't have, but sometimes the issue is with you. Sometimes the issue is with us, our own selves. Sometimes we stop ourselves from moving forward. Sometimes we stop ourselves from going where we need to go or reaching where we need to go. And it's time for us to just examine ourselves. Do a little self-reflection and see where we stand. Try to identify your weaknesses. Try to identify your strengths. What am I good at? Work on those. Strengthen those things that you're good at. What am I weak at? What am I not good at? Probably I should work on that area, because that area may probably delay my progress, or it may delay where or how far I get. And so looking at our strengths and weaknesses can help us to identify where we're at. And we are just here not just to occupy space, but we are here to actually contribute to life, contribute to someone's life, contribute to society. Right? And if we are going to do that, we need to start believing in ourselves. We need to start have confidence in our abilities to carry out a particular task, to meet a particular goal, and to actually reach self-actualization. Sometimes we may look at others and see them walking in their purpose, and I know for some of us it may prick a little conscience within us, and it causes us to question ourselves and ask ourselves, where am I at really? It causes us to question our own abilities and ask ourselves, like, what am I doing? What am I doing to actually walk in my purpose? And that is good. It is good that you can see others walking in their purpose. It is good that you can see others trying and pushing themselves. And if it pricks your conscience, it means that, yes, you know you have something to contribute. You know you have unfinished task or an unfinished job to do. And so I am happy that if you see someone walking in their purpose and it bothers you that you are not walking in yours, that's a good start, because at least it can prick your conscience and prick your mind and stimulate you to actually do something about it, right? And not doing anything at all is where the issue is. But once you have it in your mind to start, you start to contemplate or plan, how am I going to start? First of all, we need to set small goals. Sometimes we set a large goals and it seems so impossible to accomplish. But one thing that can push us to start is that we can set small goals and start going at them ensure that they are realistic and they're achievable, and take one goal at a time and go for it. And when we have accomplished each goal, what we can do is celebrate our milestone, because celebrating our milestones just help us to realize that yes, I'm not at the first level that I was, but I'm further somewhere. I'm at somewhere and I'm reaching somewhere. So it is good to celebrate our milestones. And one more thing is that sometimes we think that we have to be perfect to start. You don't have to be perfect. If what you are supposed to do is public speaking, or you're supposed to write a book or something of that sort, and you think that you have to be perfect, no, you don't have to be perfect. Your vocabulary may not be in the right place, but once you start, you may start off shaky, but the most important thing is that you've started. And as you start and as you start doing it more frequently, you find that you get better at it. So you don't have to be perfect to start. You don't have to have the most articulate and correct speech or grammar to start if it is that you're called to do public speaking. Training is good, yes. And sometimes some of us are not trained, but we are required to do an immediate start or our immediate task. Writing or grammar or writing skills may not be perfect either. But once you have started, I can promise you that you will eventually get better at it. If it is that after you have started, you have to do extra training to perfect your skills, then do that. But the most important thing is for you to start and get going. You are going to reach somewhere once you have started, right? A lot of person never started off perfect. They started off shaky. They started off in the most imperfect way, but to the point where they seem to have reached perfection is because they have failed many times. They have done trials and errors many times, and those trials and errors have been transformed into perfection. So when you see their perfect state-of-the-art end product, don't think that it's something that was done overnight. It is something that they had to work on countlessly, on many times. Sometimes or many times we don't see their failures, we don't see the mistakes that they make in order to reach perfection. But the most important thing is that they have reached the end goal, and most of us, what we see is the end product, but we don't see the work that they have to put in to get to where they are now. So you have to bear in mind with the fact that your end product is not going to be perfect at first, but eventually, once you're being persistent and consistent in what you do, you find that you become an expert. You are transitioned from a novice to an expert, and people may think that, wow, how did you do all of this? You are so talented. But you now have to break it down and let others know that it was not something that was done overnight. It was something that you had to do under trial and error. And in doing your trial and error, you eventually transformed into a perfect masterpiece. So don't hide the struggles and the trials that you had to get through to reach perfection. Be open and transparent to others so that they may see and realize that they don't have to be perfect to start their journey. They just need to step out. You just need to step out and step into that arena where you're on your journey to fulfilling purpose. That is the truth about it. It's like an iceberg effect. You may just see the top of the iceberg, but you don't see the big foundation underneath the iceberg. everything that you had to go through before that iceberg becomes visible on top. So the iceberg effect is, yes, you see the end product at the top, but the work and the foundations that were laid, nobody sees it. So you will have to be the one that encourages someone else to start building their foundation. There are so many of us who have ideas in our heads. We never put it on paper. We never draft anything. But it's time to get that idea out of your head and put it on paper. If it's not paper that you have to put it on, it may be constructing something tangible. You have to create your vision. And that is what I have started doing. I have started taking out all those ideas and beautiful things that God has placed on my heart to do, and start putting it on paper, creating what I need to create to bring it into manifestation. And you can do the same as well. The scripture says, write the vision, make it clear that he who sees it may run. So you need to write your vision, make it clear. You can create a vision board. If you have to create a vision board, create your vision board. Set a timeline on your vision board. Put words of affirmation on your vision boards, right? Set timelines, whether long-term or short-term goals, when you need to achieve something. And you will find that as you set simple goals that are realistic and achievable, you find that you will achieve them little by little, one by one, until you have completed all of your tasks. So the next thing that you have to do is write your vision. Take that thought out of your head and start putting it on paper. Start drafting it on your computer. That business idea that you have, start writing it and store it on your computer or email it to yourself. That idea of creativity, whatever it may be, whether it be a business, an online class, whatever it may be, whether it be writing a book, start taking it out of your head. That book that you have, just get a blank sheet, start writing, and you store that blank sheet somewhere. Get a stapler, and each day you write one page on that blank sheet. And you will be surprised, by the end of the month you probably have a paragraph or a chapter of that book that you need to write. Start doing something and you'll get somewhere. Not starting at all, it's not an option. Start somewhere. You need to start somewhere. Encourage someone around you to start somewhere. That's what you need to do. Take that first leap, that first step, and that leap of faith. Even if you may not see the rest of the way and it may not be clear, I can assure you that once you start, even if it was not clear before, the clarity begins to come, and you start to refine your work and refine what you're doing as you go along. Right? We may not always have all the answers at once, but that little idea that you have, start putting it on paper and start working on it. Right? So that's all I have to say regarding our area of purpose. We just need to start. Just start, and that is all I have to say today. So thank you for listening. I hope this was encouraging to you. Join me next time where we discuss something new and we explore. We have another chat again. Thank you.